Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, he's moving around freely. Nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up sentiment, because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. All the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Indigo person.
After the protest of yesterday, Sowore appeared on Prime TV, on the Rice TV, where he exposed Igbo politicians, businessmen, and leaders who are holding Kanu hostage against his release, which include the deputy speaker, Agbaya, who I've always known as, as Agbaya, by the name Kalu. I've always said it time with time that the problem of Igbo man is the Igbo man. The problem of an Igbo man is the Igbo man. But some people is on silly, stinking, useless sentiment come and be countering it, which is obvious true. All right, let me stop here. I don't want to say anything further. Let's take a listen at what you have to say. In case today is your first time coming across my video, I want to say big thank you to you for stopping by. This is Holy Ghost on platform, a platform that tell you undiluted truth. Thank you. I'll be right back. Please let me give this a thumbs up.
Try. The Supreme Court had gone on break to do the same thing. That I'm alarmed, and I'm saying this to anybody who is watching. I'm alarmed. I'm shocked that we're in a country where there's anybody who feels what is being done to Nnamdi Kanu is okay. And I say this particularly of my Yoruba brothers who make these comments. Some of them even have the audacity to send me messages personally. Oh, they'll be sending you all these videos, because your brother is in power. But I was the only person when Sunday Igboho's house was raided and all his people were, including his cat, was killed. I was the only person in this Abuja who went to the Federal High Court who pushed the DSS out of the front of the courtroom. And that was the day his people were granted bail. Nobody talked about. Yeah. There are Yoruba activists who went and invaded a radio station in Ibadan. Have you heard about them anymore? Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, he's moving around freely. Nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up sentiment, because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. All the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Indigo person, I heard is a wicked version of Ohaneze Indigo. He's saying that nobody should go out to fight for the freedom of a person who's innocent of any crime. And we are here saying it is normal. It is normal. Even the policemen who were shooting at us today were fighting for them a month ago to get their pension and gratuity. They were the ones shooting at us. They saw me today, came close to me, and they were shooting directly at me. 4 times today, the policemen I fought for. There's something wrong with this country, sir.
Let me ask you this, Dixon Irebu. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, do you believe that it will stop his group from calling for the Southeast to secede from Nigeria, assuming that is the issue? Or is it something that is beyond him alone, and therefore he should not be held entirely responsible for it? Because I think somebody made the point earlier today that you had the Biafra war before him, and of course groups like MASOB, etc., before IPOB.
Yes. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, first what it will bring is a separation from the call for secession or for the call for Biafra, away from the criminals who have wrecked the Southeast today. What we want is to redeem the most peaceful part of Nigeria, which Southeast used to be before 2015, that APC took over our government and Buhari continued with whatever, Buhari started with whatever it is that he had against the Southeasterners. But we thought, okay, Tinubu has come. What is he doing there? If he wants to unite the country, why not bring everybody's interests to the table? So release of Nnamdi Kanu may not necessarily end call for secession or call for Biafra. Biafra is no more about secession, really. Biafra is now more like a religion. Because, Charles, 3.5 million Nigerians were slaughtered in that war. There is no household in Igbo land today you go to that you won't have one person or the other that was lost in their family. So it will be difficult, therefore, to forget Biafra. What will bring about an end to the call for secession will be this country allowing for equity for all, justice for all, fairness for all. That is what will end any form of secession, whether it is Yoruba nation or Biafra nation. I am not part of call for any nation at all. I believe in Nigeria, but not this kind of Nigeria. I want a Nigeria where everybody can at least go to court, ask for justice, and get it. But now it is the highest bidder. We're not running democracy anymore in our country, because if this was democracy, freedom of association and protest as we had today and all of that would have been allowed. What we have are plutocrats who are afraid of the people, because today we saw how scared the elites are. They are scared stiff. They don't want us to get together to indeed demand for our common good. So I am only saying that releasing Nnamdi Kanu so that the criminals can be treated as criminals, so that people will not be committing the kind of crimes that we're seeing in the southeast in the name of Nnamdi Kanu. And I don't think, if the commander-in-chief really understands what he's commanding, I don't think he should continue to give deaf ears to the call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. He should be released as immediately as possible.
Mr. Sowore, I wonder how much you were influenced by protests in other parts of the world. I mean, we've had Madagascar recently, we've had Nepal. I mean, these are the kind of things that maybe worry the government. Protests involving people known as Gen Z, and I mean, we saw a whole bunch of them coming here with you. One assumes, of course, as you have yourself repeatedly pointed out, that your approach is different. Because in Nepal, for instance, they burned down everything. But I understand that obviously you want your protests to be peaceful and pacific.
Yes, because I've often stated that justice for all, for me, is not specific enough. You know, it's a bogey. And we have to specifically ask for things that would advance the progress of Nigerians or the people who live within the boundaries of a country called Nigeria. I do not believe in violence. That I've stated, but I've been protesting since I was 21 years old, and that's to remind people who are with, even Dixon and I were arrested in 2021 by Hassan, the DPO of Secretariat.
Nnamdi was brought back from Kenya.
We went to attend Nnamdi Kanu's trial. So I've been at this for a long time. But you know, anybody who is discerning, who is the leader of Nigeria, should know that these young people are watching what's happening in Nepal and other places. And, you know, deploying people on social media to discourage them is not going to discourage them. We now heard that there's a coup or an attempted coup. So everything, you know, the jigsaws are coming into place.
Those are reports that are verified. Well, and let me just point out that the Defense Department denied that any such thing took place.
Well, you know, anything they deny is something you should believe. Especially when it comes to those kind of issues.
But we have to kind of balance the story.
So, but what I'm saying here is that Nigerians are watching, and you can't use barbed wire to separate them from their leaders forever. One day, they will step over the barbed wires, the tear gas will not work, it won't stop anybody, water cannons will be useless.
Even the bullets, how many?
Even bullets, the moment you kill a few people,
but I'm wondering, I mean, you said you've been protesting since you were 21.
Yes.
I mean, do you, after all those years, do you think that people have a disproportionate amount of power to effect change? Because it doesn't seem to be happening in this, if you like, bifurcated, many channels political world that Nigeria has become, or Nigeria is.
If there was no protest in Nigeria, Nigeria would have gone completely to the dogs. If there hasn't been protests over separate the different issues.
Even the president today
Nigeria wouldn't have,
protest.
left military dictatorship.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be like Cameroon now, where the person who is president is dead, brain dead, but alive to elections. So nobody should discountenance protests. I met Goodluck Jonathan recently, and I'm glad Aisha is here with us. She has been abusing me about it on her YouTube show, lighter note. And I said, can you come protest?
It's not fair to say that she can't reply
She
to you
replied when
right
she comes
away.
out. She's my friend, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
But when we spoke up to the point, I said, can you join this protest? He said, no, I'm a former head of state. I can't participate in a protest. I said, but if you run for election and you lose, the first thing you do is to go and protest. Protest, there's nobody in Nigeria that has not participated in protests, from president to high school kids. Buhari was a protester in this country until he became president. Tinubu was funding all the protesters in Nigeria since June 12 and beyond, up to 2015 until they captured power and they now hated protesters. The ones that cannot protest always reach out to people who can help them protest whenever they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I get that from all these people all the time. This Nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about once protested on behalf of Oji Kalu when he was being tried for corruption.
Yeah.
Oji Kalu is now one of the people who says, oh, Nnamdi Kanu should let the court process be completed. But when he was tried for corruption, what did he do? He ran to the APC because he cannot trust Nigerian courts. These are the kind of people you have in these political parties who are so dishonest and hypocritical.
They don't care about
And like I said, there's a generation watching. And that generation is what the biblical people say that the next Pharaoh may not know Joseph. Abi?
Yes.
That's
Pharaoh.
Yeah, Pharaoh.
Who knows?
Right. Let me ask you this, because very briefly, because we're almost out of time. A lot of dust has been raised by today's protest, no question about that. But is it likely to make things better or worse for Mr. Kanu? 30 seconds.
It should make it better because the statement was loud and very resounding. I believe those living in their high fences in the villa heard very loudly that the people are demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
I just want to believe that they should respond to that.
A final word from you, Mr. Sowore. What happens next with your stated desire to mount pressure on the government to release Nnamdi Kanu?
If they don't, there will be a bigger murder of all protests. Again, we will announce the date, but let me say this. I'll give them a period of grace to get their acts together and do this as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll be back.
Okay, on that note, I want to